most embarrassing moment as a SEAL.
Oh, yeah, dude. So we were Birdless Wonders doing platoon support out at Nyland.
Yeah.
And there were 4 of us new guys. And so we had 12-hour shifts, and we decided we were going to take the day shift, even though it was hotter, because we wanted to go out into Brawley and drink and, be goofballs. So we were on some makeshift, target site, and we knew there were snipers watching us. So me and my buddy, we decided that we were going to do patrols naked. So we had our boots, boonies.
You heard it here first.
That's right. It's when I started my Magic Mike career, apparently. A lot of nudity in the teams. I'm sure we're going to cover a lot of that here in a while. Right. But, I was naked with my AK, boonie, and boots, and I was doing jumping jacks and clowning around and giving the snipers something to, hopefully laugh at or whatever. And this van comes around these little hills, the Chocolate Mountains out there, and I thought it was the dude that was kind of taking care of us. And sure as shit, it was his van. But as it got closer, I noticed there was someone in the passenger seat, and I was like, oh, shit. It was the CO of 5. I was like, he gets out of the passenger side. I'm like, oh, fuck, are you kidding me, dude? You're still a birdless wonder. You're still in no man's land. You ain't there yet.
Yeah.
So he gets out, calm as a cucumber, comes right up to me, and I'm kind of at a modified position of attention. I just kind of stand up straight, and I'm like,
so you had a heart on? Is that what you're saying?
It was a semi. I wanted to, but I was nervous, so... He calm as a cucumber. He walks up to me and he goes, "Are you Impastato?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Did you study Japanese in college?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He goes, "You want to learn Korean?" I'm like,
naked? Sure.
Yeah. Well, I said, "Yes, sir." And he walks away. And I was like, does this dude know I'm naked? And he gets about 5 feet from me and he just turns back and he goes, you show up to class wearing some clothes, because they sent us to San Diego State to learn Korean, which was a mistake. But I was like, I was so nervous. And so for the rest of my time there, I could never make eye contact with the dude, man. I was always embarrassed. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Now he knows the truth about the Tic Tac, I think he always felt sorry for me.
Oh, God damn, that's fucking great. And then, there's about 30 other stories equally as ridiculous that we'll get into here with some of our experiences at Bud's with the ghost masturbator and all that. But, yeah, you didn't think you were hoping I didn't remember that shit.
That's right,
no, we're covering that. Oh, you better believe we're getting into
I forgot about that, yeah.
Well, I didn't, so that's good news.
I hope my mom's not listening. I'm sorry, Mom.
Oh, Christ. What's your favorite Kool-Aid flavor?
Watermelon.
God damn.
Yeah, man.
All right. Best hazing story ever.
Man. Best hazing story. Like my hazing or just the hazing that happened in the platoon?
Shit, whatever strikes you as being like, that's the best hazing story I've ever come across. I mean, that you were either being hazed or doing it, but...
Well, yeah, my hazing was typical. I was naked, duct taped in a 69 position.
There it is, naked again.
There's a lot of nudity in the teams.
Yeah.
The odd part about that is they put us in the meat locker out there at Nyland in the kitchen.
No pun intended.
The meat locker, right? Yeah. There was a lot of meat. Well, they forgot about us, and they actually came in concerned like an hour later, like, oh, shit, are these dudes frozen together? Little popsicles in the 69.
Holy Jesus.
But it was a funny one, but it was a little bit scary as they obviously they duct taped this dude naked to a chain link fence, and it was his 21st birthday, so they decided to give him a 21 bun salute with simunition, and they let those sim rounds rip on this dude's butt cheeks. But you know what sims do to you, especially 21 of them in an area, and we were all like, oh, like everybody was frozen, like, oh shit.
It fucked him up, huh?
Yeah, it was bad, dude. We were all like little kids where you throw the rock through the neighbor's window and you freeze, like, oh shit. So that was one that stands out for sure, man.
Jesus.
Oh, fuck.
There's a million of them. Fucking million of them. I have to ask, and this is one of the more serious questions. What is your favorite cheese?
Ooh, I love cheese, man.
God, who doesn't?
I try to stay away from it because my dad bod's in full effect. But dude, my favorite cheese, I just like a good mild cheddar, man.
Is that right?
It's kind of ghetto, but yeah, just
that's pretty basic. I thought you were more refined than that.
No, man,
that's
nothing fancy
not
here.
Smoked
man.
Gouda or fucking Camembert, like just
mild cheddar.
All right,
sorry, dude.
Christ, I'm fucking keeping it real. All right, nothing wrong with it.
I could buy it in bulk.
Fucking government will hand the shit out.
That's right. It's free.
It's fucking free. Fucking wheel of cheese. All right. So last lightning round question. What book are you currently reading? And if there isn't one, what's the last one you read?
The last book I read was actually...
You mean you're not currently reading?
No, I've been on the road, man.
Hey, it's no excuse.
I know. The last one was the Admiral's book, Make Your Bed.
No, yeah. McRaven?
Yeah,
no shit.
that was awesome. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I feel guilty like that dude's watching. Guess what I do every morning? Swear to God, I make my bed because I'm like, somehow he knows, dude.
Creepy Uncle McRaven looking over your shoulder.
Uncle McRaven's like, did you make your bed? And I can't lie to him. So seriously, after I read that book, I'm like, he's right. At least I will accomplish one task today.
One thing. Play guitar and make my bed.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, good stuff. So now I want to just kind of go down the roster, if you will, of your experience and delve into, the nuts and bolts of again, the experience, that so many guys like us can identify with and that a lot of people are interested in. And I think it's important for them to hear about, what makes guys like you do what you do, what makes you tick, and then ultimately, what experiences you've had that have shaped you into who you are today. So you were born in Colorado Springs, which, when I did the Jay Dobbins interview, the ATF guy, that there's a lot of similarities that I'll draw from during this interview in terms of some of your experience. But, come to find out, when I grew up in Iowa, it was the Sons of Silence, which was a big motorcycle gang that was prominent in Iowa, originated in Colorado Springs. Just real quick, like, did you ever remember that, seeing or hearing about them growing up?
I never saw those dudes, but they were kind of urban legends. Like, you knew about them in town, and you always heard about them, and you were kind of like, but I never came across them. So I actually lived probably 20, 25 minutes outside the Springs. So if they came up into my house, they had to have dirt bikes. So
so probably not. And probably no knobby tires showing up on the fucking hogs, right? So growing up in Colorado Springs, one of the things that I'm curious about, and I know a lot of people ask, me and other guys like us, what was growing up, just in kind of generally speaking, was there any sports that you played and excelled at, or, was there anything that, from an athletic standpoint, that you focused on that kind of contributed, with physical fitness being as important and physical prowess being as necessary as it is in our line of work? Like, what physical experiences shaped you as a kid growing up prior to joining the Navy? Yeah,
when I was a tiny kid, soccer was big, probably part of my Italian heritage. But I lost interest in it. I was fairly decent at it. I was left wing. Probably around the junior high age, I discovered hockey.
Oh, no shit.
I played a little pond hockey growing up, but nothing serious, and just caught the hockey bug. So through junior high and high school, that was my big sport. Of course, I wanted to play for the Bruins and all that shit. That didn't happen, but so it was those were the two main sports. I dabbled a little bit in wrestling, didn't like it. Played a little football, pee-wee football, and I played one season in high school, but it wasn't my thing. So it was soccer as a kid, and then hockey's what I really focused in on, and that's kind of what started to form that team concept, and also like a contact sport. It really showed me. I was a defenseman, so violence was kind of my... I liked it because I didn't have to worry about scoring goals. I just had to fuck that dude up scoring the goal, I was like, I can do this. This is easy, Yeah,
it's hockey is an interesting sport, I think, and it's one I similarly, like growing up in northern Iowa, I did a little bit of pond hockey, but I never played in any organized leagues or anything like that. I fell through the ice a couple times and about shit myself, and about froze to death. But very limited experience, just kind of dabbled a little bit. But I've always been fascinated, like especially with our culture being as fucking emasculated and pussified as it has become, that hockey is one of those sports that still allows people to just beat the shit out of each other, and the crowd goes wild and everybody loves it. And it's like, how has that managed to slip through? I mean, I'm fucking glad that it has. Was that, obviously that was something that had an impact? Like, violence is kind of the universal language there. Like it is. It's a sport that's pretty much based on fucking each other up. There's some finesse with the skating and shooting and stuff, but a lot of that sport is just pile driving the shit out of each other. It's
a ballsy sport, and what I like is I always say it's one of the hardest sports to play, because a lot of other sports, like you're on the ground, you're doing something that's natural, you're running or whatever. As soon as you get out on that ice with your blades, it's like it's a whole new world, so you got to get good at that. And then as a defenseman, you have to be able to skate backwards just as good as that dude skates forward. And it's violent, but there's a lot of skill set involved because you could be bigger and stronger than me, but I'm better on my skates.
Yeah.
So I can dump you and stuff. And so it's
kind of like water polo in that way. Like, the first times in the teams, like playing water polo or fucking underwater hockey, like the team PTs, like, the water and the ice are quite the neutralizer that way. Guys that are bigger and stronger, like if you're better on skates or better in the water than them, then you'll own their ass. But I just it's one thing that I really like about hockey is it's a fucking man sport where people just knock the shit out of each other and it's cool. Like they're not getting penalized. Being by and large, obviously high sticking and cheap shots aren't cool, but like just the mano a mano, like leveling each other, I love it.
Typically they'll let it go until one dude overpowers the other dude. And so I don't know about nowadays, but it really, to me, it was an introduction to, I hate to use the word violence, but contact. And not to be scared of it. That
embrace it.
Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, dude. I mean, sometimes you're going to get your lunch handed to you, but you usually shake hands and hug the dude. It's at the end of the game, you come out of the locker rooms and be like, dude, you whooped my ass, that was awesome. And the crowd goes wild, and so it's kind of gladiatorial in a way. But it definitely shaped an early part of my personality to realize not to be, don't be scared, don't be a pussy. All that made sense, but it just that like sometimes this is okay. It's a part of that community. And so I think that helped me out in the military early on, is that, hey, this is a contact sport. This is a blood sport, and things are going to happen at times. So even as a kid, I think hockey was very, fundamental in that.
Yeah, to me, there's an element of that I think is missing in our society by and large, in that, the reality of it is we're all still fucking animals, and violence is a universal language. Like, you don't have to speak it; it'll still be spoken to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And learning at a young age, let boys be boys, let them fight. Let them figure shit out on their own, because it's a necessary skill set, and I think technology has hindered and blinded human beings to that fact, because there's not a necessity for it in some aspects of our society, but there needs to be, because, especially with social media and social justice warriors, people that have a real big fucking mouth behind a keyboard, but won't have that same level of accountability when you're standing in front of them. I think is a detriment to our society. And I think hockey and some other sports, whether it's MMA or other full contact sports that teaches combativeness but respect for an opponent and things of that nature is a big element of our society that's missing, that I wish there was more of. But at any rate, it's cool to hear that that hockey's played such an integral part in your growing up. I am curious, just like with me, and some of the experiences I had in terms of high school turmoil and things like that. But were there things growing up that shaped both who you are and whether it was relationships, tumultuous relationships with family, or anything traumatic or anything? Was there any kind of highlight moments growing up that impacted you and either steered you into service, or just really had a prominent impact on who you are and why you are the way you are?
Yeah, I think the number one thing would be my mom. I was raised by a single mom. She raised me and my brother. She never dated. She just was
toeing the line.
Yeah, stand on her own 2 feet and make things happen. So I saw that as an example of, pick yourself up by the bootstraps, show up to work, handle what you got to do. She tried to fulfill that mother and father role. So as an example, she was huge in my life, but also being raised by a single mom, it kind of gave me a sensitive side to life. Like I always say I have I'm kind of a crazy dude, but I have a woman's heart. Like I understand, I empathize with things.
Yeah. So where you were trying to hold my hand?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I was like, I'll be Little Spoon. But definitely that was a big thing. But luckily she was a strong woman. She's tough. She's from New York. She's born in Manhattan. So I'm still scared of her. I'm scared of like 3 people. She's one of them. You know what I mean?
That's great shit.
And then also we grew up isolated. Like I said, we were probably 20 minutes in the hills. So growing up, there weren't a lot of neighbor kids.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time out in the woods playing Army guy. Ended up growing up to join the Navy, but kind of weird. So yeah, I would just had my BB gun and I was outside. I mean, I really came in just for meal times and just built tree forts. And I had to kind of create my own scenarios. I had my Australian Shepherd kind of raised me.
Yeah.
And so my dog and a BB gun out in the hills, and I conquered the world as a kid, or at least, an acre or two,
Yeah. I mean, that's your world growing up,
So, well, I think those two things really shaped who I was. And also kind of growing up, not really lonely, but not growing up with other kids. When it was school time, bro, I was the class clown, obviously. Yeah. And so I was like a little Robin Williams, man. I was entertaining and like I enjoyed the company of my peers when I had those moments. So I guess that's three things now. Yeah. I'm not so good at counting, but
I'm not so good on the arithmetic, but in terms of, I know for me, like both my grandfathers served in World War II. One was in the Army, one was in the Navy, and for me that was like a huge inspiration growing up. I didn't really know my dad's dad. I mean, I met him a couple times, but he died, when I was a little bit younger. But my mom's dad was very influential in my life, and he wasn't opposed to talking about it, but didn't go out of his way to talk about it. But I remember, a number of stories of him talking about being on a minesweeper in World War II and all this other pretty wild shit. But it just, to me, like it was about wanting to do my part, in terms of serving. But I'm curious, what was it that inspired you as you, going through high school and did you learn about SEAL teams? Did you, was there anything that was kind of instrumental during that period that really was kind of that light switch of you saying, you know what, I need to go fucking serve in the military, and this is why I'm going to do it?
Yeah, definitely. As a kid, my mom, she was part of the World War II generation. So as a kid, we watched a lot of World War II movies. Yeah. Tora, and, Midway and all this stuff. And I always thought, damn, that's just something epic's going on here. Even as a kid, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew like this is something that I could see that greater cause, something bigger than one person. So I was always fascinated by it until high school when the Gulf War kicked off, and it was when CNN was new and it was 24 hours. I don't think I slept the entire time. I was just glued to the TV watching the invasion, and I was like, I got to do this, man. No shit. So that was definitely the moment when I said, when I'm done with education, I'm going to do this.
No shit.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that? I'm a few years younger than you are. For me, I was in junior high. I was in 7th grade. And I remember being scared fucking shitless. Like it was the opposite of that, like I literally, and I'll be the first to admit, like when that went down, like I was glued to the TV, but for the opposite reasons. Like I was like, holy fuck, I hope I never have to go do that. I was scared. I was scared that our country was going to war because, it was like being born in the late 70s and growing up in the 80s, which was like MacGyver and Knight Rider time of like just everything was cool, fucking Airwolf and Street Hawk and, like all these awesome badass shows.
The A-Team, dude.
But it was like nobody ever really got hurt either.
Yeah.
It was like,
true,
it was almost a manufactured, sexiness to it. And so that was the first slap in the face for me as a 12-year-old. That I was just like, holy shit, like that's for real. Like our country's going to war. I hope I never have to do that. And then literally, a couple of years later, it was the exact opposite. But it's neat to hear, the inspiration from every service member, because I mean the reality of it is that there's not a service member veteran that exists today that there isn't something like that, and they're all unique. Everybody has their own path, their own story, and I always love to hear fellow veterans, upbringings and kind of what channeled them into the service in that regard. But that's neat shit.